What's up, brother?
Nothing. CatZ's gonna take a little break. He needs to smoke. He needs to fumar his cigarillo. So I'm gonna take over for a little bit. But Ben, what you think of that game, man?
It was exciting. Mer's showing some really nice play, in spite of the fact that he forgot that siege mode. Might have worked out better for him in the end anyway, because instead of pushing with 150 supply, he pushed with 200 supply.
Yeah.
And it was a really nasty army. Game 2, Fnatic calls up Todd, the French Protoss player. I'm really excited to see Todd play. And I have to put this out there for everybody in internet land. I accidentally insulted Todd at DreamHack. I did not mean to. We had these really long days at DreamHack. It's like 16-hour casting days, and it was exhausting. And on the last day, there was this like autograph signing, and I was working with Day 9, so I had to sign with Day 9. So as you can imagine, everybody was like, every single attendee to DreamHack was in line to get Day 9's autograph. So I was sitting there, and every 5 guys, somebody would come over and ask for me to sign something, and so sign the thing. But it was like I had to get up early to get there because there were so many people, so I was a little bit tired. And Todd walks up to me and goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Yon," and I didn't realize that it was Todd, and I just kind of brushed him off. I was like, "Hey." I just kind of waved my hand. I was like, "Okay, get out of here, kid." And
dude, so BM.
And then a few minutes later, I was like,
"Too cool for the normal people."
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't too cool. It was early, and I was exhausted. And I was hungry, and I felt so bad, and I still haven't had a chance to reconcile with Todd. So I owe him a meal and a drink, and a handshake and a hug. So.
There you go.
Hopefully, Todd, if you catch wind of this, I'm sorry. I did not mean to be a dick. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
No doubt. But
in fairness to me, I'm just kind of a bitter old man to begin with. I'm just kind of crabby, especially when I'm working, because I want to focus on the job, do a good job, and then after that we can be friends.
Well, you are the Mr. Bitter, so
I was in like hardcore bitter mode.
Obviously.
So.
But, yeah, nevertheless, I actually don't have much experience with Todd. He actually joined Fnatic MSI when I wasn't around on the team. But I know he's had really good results. MLG, he showed to be... who did he take out? Felicia, I believe? He took out Felicia in MLG. Do you remember that?
I don't recall.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was probably one of the MLGs that I wasn't able to work. I think I was in New York casting IEM that week.
I think so.
I wasn't able...
I'm not sure. Anyway, well, we know Todd is very, very strong, and
against
Mers, I think we're in for a really good game. Of course, Dignitas and Fnatic always had their rivalry too, so it's gonna be great to watch this this particular match go down. But 1-0 up for Dignitas right now. Mers, he's continuing his onslaught, and we'll see if he can continue on now. Yeah.
I'm eager to see it. I believe the players are ready. The map is Antigua Shipyard. The matchup is TVP. And if we've got the go-ahead from everybody, I say we start this bad boy.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and do it. I think CatZ is still MIA, so I guess I'll take over for him for a little bit in this game, and then I'll let him, if he comes in, we'll go from there. We did fix the sound issue, so hopefully we'll be able to go.
Yeah.
We'll be good to go,
Cool stuff. All right, countdown has begun.
CatZ is back,
Mers versus Todd. Welcome back, Paulo.
Thank you.
And, hey, man, while we're on the load screen, you have any thoughts on Todd versus Mers?
Todd is ridiculous, man. He was one of the best Protoss players outside of Korea. I think he's one of the few players, and if only a few people know this, but he's actually Grandmasters in Korea, which is... I can't. There must be like maybe 5 foreigners that are grandmasters in Korea, if that. I think it would be Stefano, Idra, and
Huck.
Todd. Is Huck grandmasters again? I know he wasn't last season.
Oh, then I don't know.
I actually don't know if Todd is this season.
I just assumed.
But
yeah.
No,
Todd's excellent.
Todd was. Yeah, he's really good.
There was actually a period of time, like he's really good friends with Rotterdam. I live with Rotterdam, and so those guys talk a fair amount. And he participated for a while. He participated in a lot of the online European events, and the one that I'm thinking back to is IEM Kiev. When we had the qualifier for Kiev, Todd played in that and did not manage to qualify. And after the games, he was talking to Kevin. He was like, man, sometimes I just feel like I'll never be as good in StarCraft as I was in Warcraft 3, because there was, of course, a time in Warcraft 3 when you could argue that Todd was the best in the world.
Oh, yeah.
But shortly after that, he just went on this crazy tear. He won, I think, one of the MSI, one of the Fnatic Invitational tournaments. It was like a $10,000 tournament, or maybe it was $3,000. But it was still a really nice, prestigious online tournament, beating players like Stefano and Nerchio, who CatZ, I know you have a lot of respect for both those guys.
Yeah, those are absolutely probably my two favorite Zergs outside of Korea. Alongside with Hydra now, he's been doing really well lately. But yeah, Todd is one of the best players outside of Korea, hands down. He, of course, yeah, Warcraft 3 might have been a little bit easier of a field of players to deal with, and arguably, yeah, it was. I mean, it was Todd and Grabby against the world there. So, yeah, Todd was amazing at Warcraft 3. I know he's been struggling against Zerg for the longest time now, but his PvT and PvP are just amazing.
Yeah. And that's going to be one of the reasons that Fnatic chose him to play against Mers here. A bit of a Terran sniper. So I'm really eager to see what he does. We see that he's opening up in what looks to be pretty standard Protoss fashion, gas, then gate. If I had to guess, I'd say he'll go with some sort of one-gate fast expand. And I have no idea what Mers is going to do.
Yeah, that's quite common. Yeah, I'm surprised no expansions yet for either players. Usually there's at least one of them expanded by now in TvP. TvP has become a lot like Zerg versus anything used to be, in the sense that Protoss and Terran players are realizing that they can just expand, and there's not that huge of a risk in doing so.
Yeah, as player skill increases, the weird all-ins are basically able to be dealt with, and on top of that, as the maps get bigger, it just becomes so much harder to do the cheesy stuff that was so dominant in the early stages of the life of StarCraft 2.
Yeah, definitely. So we see the Terran player now dropping an expansion, and Todd actually going for a second gas before expanding himself.
Ooh. And a pylon goes down in a really interesting spot. What are you up to, Todd? Already mining off of that second gas, but only with 2 probes. This is something Naniwa does. He's got 2 probes in either geyser. Am I reading this correct? Yep, yes, 2 in the right, absolutely. 2 in the left. Yep, so something is calculated and precise here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a Stargate, just because of the positioning of that pylon. You know, proxy DTs and anything like that would still be a possibility, but just that the position of that pylon looks to be set up for a Stargate, I would think. I'm surprised he pulled back the probe to the middle, though.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Todd that SUV got in and saw those extra 2 gateways going down. If he goes, you can't just go 3-gate expand against 1-Rax FE. That will never, ever work. You'll be too far behind to the Terran player. So what in the world are you up to, Todd? What are you thinking? What is your plan?
It looks like he's gonna go 3-gate expand anyways.
Wow.
Which is pretty old school. I mean, it's not like 3-gate and make a lot of units expand though. He made 3 gates and then he expanded only off of 1 Sentry and 1 Stalker, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Now dropping a rogue facility, and I have to think he changed his plan.
Yeah. Maybe that SCV scout threw him off a little bit. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to figure out there. There's also been a bit of an upswing in weird sort of warp prism plays with things like sentries and warp prisms. So it's possible that we might see something like that. I've got to say though, if Todd just tries to play a straight up macro game, he's going to be significantly behind. We can see that the Terran is already not only mining in his natural, but already has double orbital.
Yeah. So yeah, the Terran's going to be able to pull up ahead, at least here in the economical game for a little bit. I wouldn't mind him taking another base soon.
Yeah, there's not a really... look, there's that warp prism that we were talking about. So Todd is thinking that he needs to get something done. That is the right point of thought. And he's got the 4 sentries out, so this is going to be a sentry drop. He'll load up the 4 sentries, he'll drop in the back of one of the bases, and if he can get a couple of good force fields and warp in some zealots, he can do some really big damage. But it's still going to be tough. That's a scary Terran army moving out on the map right now, and it's one that I don't think Todd can really kill.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is gonna be really tough for Todd to stop. He sees it coming though, at least a glimpse of it with that probe at the Watchtower. The turn player could have, like Merz could have done a little bit better of a job just spacing his army from that SCV a little bit better. Now Todd has to know that this is coming, but it's still gonna be hard to stop him.
Todd actually turns the Warp Prism around, so not only has he is he behind economically, but this push by the Terran player has basically made him abandon his plan of going for the Sentry drop. Scan goes down, spots the Warp Prism, so Merz knows everything, and he's just going to turn around and go home. What a beautiful fake push.
Yeah, very, very nice. I mean, Merz, that was a really nice scan. He just realized he couldn't get in there, but yeah, that was actually really, really nice. I'm not sure what Merz could have done if I mean, if there was no Warp Prism play and whatnot, it would have been just a waste of a scan. And but as it turns out, you know, like Todd was doing something fishy. Merz identified that not everything was playing out like to be normal, and
man,
yeah, it was nice.
Look how good Merz is. Already in position. Todd's Warp Prism is going to fly right over some Marines and Marauders, but Todd is paying very close attention. Pulls back before any damage can be taken. Merz is ironclad right now. He's got the Ghost Academy going down. I'm in agreement with you, CatZ. I wish he had just expanded again. As it is, he's going to continue to tech up and maybe try to make another push here. And, you know, a Ghost push is still tough to deal with, but after the EMP nerf, it's not what it used to be.
Definitely, but I think it's not a bad choice in this particular case. He knows that there's plenty of sentries with plenty of energy from the start, just from Todd's plan. So it's going to come down to whether he can land those EMPs, and if he can, it's going to be incredibly hard for Todd to stop here.
Yeah. Todd's pulled back that Warp Prism. He's got all of his sentries unloading in the natural. No real AoE units on the map at all. There's an Immortal about to pop out, but that's not going to help that much against all these Marines. Here come the Ghosts. Sentries are a little bit clumped up. Todd throws down some defensive force fields. Yep, I think that is the absolute correct choice in this situation.
Yeah,
have to commit Todd. Go ahead.
Yep. I was gonna say, like, a few units, a few sentries are bound to be EMP'd here if Merz played it correctly. So just dropping those force fields prior to anything happening was just really smart. And another really cool thing that he did was he force fielded off of different sentries. Like he didn't just waste the energy in one sentry. That was really
I didn't even catch that. That's a great point, and nice little touch there, just preserving the general energy pool that he had there. As this was happening, we can see that Todd has warped in a few more units up at the top of the map. His Warp Prism is over there, so I think next time Merz leaves his base, Todd is going to try to drop again. I'm just really impressed with Merz's play. He pushed forward again. He was going to see, hey, can I do any damage? Saw, no, I cannot, so now he's going to expand. And so he will continue to be a base ahead. We know that Todd is not going to have a third base with any sort of, like, no time soon. So Merz just continuing to build on that lead. The supplies are still very close, but I'm still really liking Merz's position.
Yeah, I think Todd has done a pretty good job of catching back up, though. He did start the double forge, which I really like, and now he's going to 2-2, so he's gonna be at 2-2, and Merz is gonna be only at 1-1 at the most, like, and it's gonna be like 1-0 and upgrading the what you call it, the armor. So yeah. So if Todd hits timing at 2-2, that could be really good for him.
He's also got that robotics bay down, and his first Colossi are starting to build. Thermalance also researching, so he's making the right steps to put himself into a position to I guess make it into the later game. But Merz once again going to push forward. Todd does send that Warp Prism into the main of Merz, and with the extra HP, he does manage to unload, warp in, and bam! Now there's 5 Zealots, 6 Zealots in the main base of Merz, and he has nothing in a great position to deal with it. Back in Todd's natural, still force fielding that ramp. Beautiful. Again.
Yeah. And now Colossus is out.
Colossus on the high ground. Yeah, now he's in great shape. So the standing army of Merz no longer so scary. Wow, look at these Zealots still cutting things up. Merz's army maybe not able to just fight Todd's army in a heads-up fight, but he is still up a base.
Yeah,
I'm looking to see if
those Zealots have a few kills there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and immediately Mers starts pumping out Vikings. So, a closer game than it was, especially if you check out the supplies and the upgrades. I don't know. I guess this one's starting to... It could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Todd really playing really nice to his strengths. It's a really unusual style against Terran. I don't normally see this. They usually try and keep up with the economy of the Terran unit expanding before Protosses do, but like Todd taking other kinds of advantages, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, even starting that +3 attack upgrade, he's all over these upgrades. As soon as one finishes, he starts the next. So very fast upgrades from Todd. 15 minutes and he's starting +3. Finally starts the third base. This is significantly behind Mers, but with the upgrades, with the Colossi, now he can't really be attacked, so it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah, and now switching to Templars and probably Storm. I love this. He's just going for a late game like unit composition. It's gonna be an incredibly strong push once Todd gets maxed, and that's pretty much gonna decide the game. I think that Todd is just setting himself up for an attack once he hits the max, and we can just see like how carefully he's planned this through. Like he's slowly adding the right units, he's slowly getting the right composition, getting the best upgrades, and once he gets maxed, it's gonna be so hard for Mers.
Yeah, Mers has 8 Vikings out, a lot of Marauders, 22 Marauders, 33 Marines, and only 2 Ghosts. Those are the first 2 Ghosts he ever made, and they're still around. Todd is still producing Colossi, but he's starting to dump in a lot of that gas into those Templar that we were talking about. He's got a couple out already. This is when they do finally fight, it's going to be really interesting. Mers is going to have to control very well, because that Protoss army is reaching that sort of critical mass where you can't just kill it with Stem and a couple of Medivacs and Marine Marauder.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh, look, Archons. So yeah, he hasn't even started the Storm yet, but he identifies that there's only 2 Ghosts in that army. So it's gonna come down to those EMPs. He does have a few EMPs because those Ghosts are maxed on energy, but it's gonna be tough, man. It's up to his EMPs, and it looks like Mers wants to do something, make something happen here.
I'm not crazy about this angle. He's kind of backing himself into a corner. We do see the EMPs going down. Colossi doing some pretty good damage. Stalkers blinking backwards and Zealots charging in. The Vikings just shredding the Colossi. But it looks like Todd might have maybe just a little bit too much. It looks like every Zealot has fallen, so now it's only Stalkers against Marine Marauder, and no, Mers does have enough. 130 supply to 100, and Todd's in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, that was crazy, and one of the Archons got stuck in the back there. I really would have liked to see Storm here. I mean, only with 2 Ghosts, Todd being aware of that, but he's still going to be able to clear this out just because he has 3-3 already. Wow, the upgrade's really playing such a big part in this engagement.
Yeah, a lot of probes died though, which is really unfortunate. 23 workers in total dying to Mers. That basically makes up the supply differential right now, 140 to about 105. Todd he's kind of broke. His main is mined out, his natural is thinning heavily, and he's just now getting a new batch of probes over to that third base. This is a scary time for the Protoss player. He's got to make something happen, and he doesn't have the money to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mers in a really good spot here. He just has to secure his advantage, get that 3-3 going. He's already upgrading 3-2. And yeah, doing the right thing again, making another command center. Probably going to be floating into the gold when it's done. And yeah, just playing very careful, but very nice.
Yeah, Mers is impressing. I mean, he's always been a really strong player, but he hasn't really had any difficulty in either of these first 2 sets. Todd does push forward with about 130 supply. Mers is going to be nearly maxed whenever his army gets here. Is his army going to get here? Where is that army, Mers? Here it comes.
Oh, I thought Todd might go for the command center there. That would have put Mers at an all-in position. But yeah, Todd decided that if that was the case, he probably wouldn't have enough to hold. So he's just gonna back down again. But very nice move by Todd, and a little bit of a misstep by Mers not having a supply depot or something to spot those rocks.
Oh, Stalkers do blink forward, trying to pick off a Viking there. Upgrades right now, 3-3 for Protoss, 3-2 finishing up for Mers. Storm just now starting for Todd. Wow, I guess that's why he wasn't storming when Mers pushed his third base.
Oh, going for a feedback. Got a ghost there. And Templar actually
lives to fight another day. How often do you see that?
Not very.
So Templar's a hero.
You know, yep, definitely.
Pin a medal on his chest.
What does the medal say, you think?
Killed a ghost and lived to tell the story. Right now, Mers just basically postured in the middle of the map. He's completely maxed out, so you've got to feel like he's going to try to make something happen here soon. If he waits for Storm, he's going to be giving Todd a chance that I think he could deny if he just tried to force this next fight.
Nice feedback. Yeah, not just that, but also Todd is taking the gold now. And yeah, the longer Mers waits here, I'm not sure. He's probably waiting for 3-3, or 3-2. But if he doesn't attack at +2 armor, I'd be really confused. Even in chat, Select and CT from Dignitas are like, go.
That's exactly what he's going to do. Vikings come forward. They're going to start working on the Colossi. Storms are going down. Pretty good one happened on the bottom half of the map. And this fight not looking that bad for Todd as Mers turns it around. 140 supply to 120. And Todd, he does have the lower supply, but he's continuing to push Mers back. I cannot believe this. Vikings being forced to land. These Archons doing some pretty good damage to him. Todd probably going to have to disengage here soon as he's running out of forces, but Mers took a big, he took a beating there.
Yeah, definitely. He had, Todd had one storm and he made it work, man. He stormed, the side of Mers' army. I feel like Mers could have split a little bit better his idea. His flank was good. He had a little too few units on one side, though. Yeah, those Vikings... just not enough Colossi there to make up for the number of Vikings he had, I think, but all in all, that was pretty good for Todd.
How critical was it that Mers waited for Storm, though? I don't know that the +2 armor really made that much. What is +2 going to get you? Obviously, upgrades are great, but in a situation like that, I think the presence of even that single Storm, really outweighed whatever benefit the +2 armor gave.
Yeah, definitely. I think... well, for one thing, he couldn't know that Storm was done or not done, but yeah, a little bit of I didn't see too many EMPs hit anything significant either, and that makes kind of a big difference as well. Todd's positioning really nice though.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Stalker's on the high ground, going to deny any mining from the gold base for Todd. Ooh, Vikings being carelessly thrown forward. Big stem goes down, and Mers once again going to try to make something happen, but he runs into a Storm and some Vikings. I'm sorry, some Colossi.
Yeah, he sent 2 of those ghosts in front, and then they got feedback right away. So he lost 2 full energy ghosts, and those were the last 2 he had. He just got 2 more, and he's gonna.
Oh my God, CatZ! Todd's gonna win this game. Mers is not. He's not really mining. He's down to 120 supply. His third base has some money left on it, but it's virtually gone because of all the mules. Todd's now mining on the gold.
Yep, now making cannons. Those cannons are so good against ghosts. And yeah, Todd in a fantastic position. It's really hard to believe. He played this so methodically, and then he definitely fall behind. I mean, that couldn't be his plan. That was a really nice push by Mers at the third. But yeah, I mean, just the feedback versus the EMP has been a battle that Todd has won critically. I mean, there have been no EMPs almost, and
man, I'm just blown away by this. Todd up to about 180 supply now. Mers still at just 120. He's got no money anywhere. This gold base under constant siege. Colossus does get picked off there, but I mean, what good does it really do? It's still a huge disadvantage for Mers, and he's got no way to really fund the building of a new army.
Yep, and one thing about the composition that Mers has, I think he may have too many Marauders. They're not going to be very effective against those Zealots, whereas Marines would do a lot better. Oh, there go the Templars for feedbacks. Feedback on 1 ghost. Tried to snipes 1 Templar there.
Yeah, but Todd just realizing he doesn't even really have to force the issue. He can just sit up on this high ground and deny mining, and there's not a whole lot MrBitter can do about it. MrBitter's continuing to pump out Marauders, so not making the adjustment that you said he maybe should make. A couple snipes go down, but I'm not even sure what they hit. And, well, finally, MrBitter's able to do some mining. If you go look at this, Zealots over in the third base of MrBitter's. Situation's just getting worse and worse.
Yep, it's gonna be really tough. I mean, salts are so good when they're 3-3.
Yeah.
Another feedback.
Yeah, MrBitter realizes it. GG. Todd does take game number 2. And
nice comeback.
Wow. Yeah, nice comeback. Nice pick by Fnatic, saying, all right, we're gonna send out the Terran sniper. Todd doing his job, barely, but he does get it done. And it ties up the series 1-1. So really impressive stuff, man. I don't really know how it's possible for Todd to win after losing so much at his third base, but he just kind of stuck around, played very, very patiently, and eventually his army was too much for MrBitter to deal with.
Yeah, that was very impressive play by Todd, and yeah, patience paid off, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. So that means that we've got to figure out who's going to be playing in game number 3 in this matchup between Fnatic and Dignitas. So while we wait for that, we're going to kick it to a short commercial break. Guys, don't go anywhere. More StarCraft 2 coming up.